Hello everyone, this is Keebs, and I am proud to present my channel's very first, drumroll please, tablet review! The good people over at Parblo proposed to me a collab and sent me their Intangbo X7, which is this really cute, budget-friendly tablet. For $59.99 USD, this graphics tablet comes in 3 different colors: black, pink, and green, and is compatible with a wide array of operating systems, which I will show right here on screen. The Intangbo X7 is unfortunately not set up to work with iPads or iPhones. Sorry iOS users, this guy won't make the cut. What it does have, however, is their new S01 battery-free pen with 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity and 60-degree tilt support, a 5080 LPI resolution and report rate of 266 RPS for smooth, high-quality performance and output, 5 customizable short keys, a mechanical mute wheel, and a working space of 7.2 by 4.5 inches. Now that all the technical jargon is out of the way, I want to note a quick disclaimer before I get any further into this review. This is in no way a paid promotion. Parblo has sent me this tablet for free, and all comments from here on out will be my honest opinions and experiences with the X7. Also, I have not touched a graphics tablet since 2016, as I've been using monitor display tablets religiously since then. Some of this review may be colored by my preferences working with such tablets, but I will also try to review this under the mindset of the clientele it was intended for, younger as well as beginner digital artists. And now, without further ado, let's get started with the unboxing. I will first enlist the help of my assistants. Chico! Blackjack! Get up on over here. Time to get to work, boys. Good work, lads. Let's see what we've got here. First impressions. This box is absolutely adorable. It has a very bright graphic design that makes it feel like it's a present that's been wrapped up and waiting for me. On the back, we have standard information like what all is inside, system requirements, customer service contacts, and all that fun jazz. The front of the box has this little cardboard flap that I think is meant to be shaped like a painter's palette. It's pretty cute and creative, I think. It's the first I've seen a tablet package be interactive in this way. It makes it feel very young, in my opinion, which I suppose makes sense, as in Parblo's email, they said that this was marketed as a tool for young and beginner artists. Enough about the packaging, though. We want to see what's inside. Ooh, here it is. I picked the green one, and hey, wait, something's off here. Yeah, isn't there supposed to be a mask here? Chico, did you take my peelies? I can't believe this. Fine, keep it to yourself, you little thief. No ASMR for the peoples. Anyways, let me tell you more about this tablet and what it comes with. We have the Shining Star tablet itself. What makes the X7 so different is that this dial up here in the top left corner allows you to switch between using it with a phone, tablet, Chromebook, or desktop PC. We have the scroll wheel here. It moves pretty smoothly. It's very quiet. The 5 express keys below. It looks like a pretty standard design to me, though it does feel a bit thin and kinda like a toy in my hands. But I don't want to pass judgment too quickly until I start using it. Next up is the S01 pen and the case it comes with. I'm more used to pen tablets coming with a stand for the stylus and not a case, so this is a bit new to me. It looks like we have a small pocket in the back, which I'm assuming is for putting extra nibs. The pen itself is very lightweight and has a good shape to it. In my opinion, this is very similar to the pen that comes with my XP Pen 15.6 Pro, so it's already a familiar feel. The silicone grip is comfortable and sweat resistant too, so that's a plus. Yeah, and it's got 2 buttons on the side. I'll probably set those to an eyedropper and eraser later. At the top here, it has a metal ring that you can pop off and use to safely remove the nibs. And if you unscrew the topper, you can place 3 extra nibs directly inside so you can always keep your spares on hand. I like that, honestly, as someone who always forgets where I've put my extra nibs. So this cuts time and feels more intuitive to a constant workflow. For connecting the tablet to your chosen devices, it comes with a USB 2.0 to USB-C cable, and to connect it to an Android device, you get this handy little Type-C OTG adapter. Here's 8 extra nibs for the pen, the Intangbo X7 Quick Start Guide, a Parblo inspection/certification paper so you know it's the real deal, a funky sheet of colorful Parblo brand stickers that match the details on the outside of the box, an instruction sheet in Chinese as well as English that shows with cute graphics how to connect to different devices and Parblo support and what apps the X7 is compatible with, a Parblo art glove, and a Parblo cleaning cloth. Here's everything laid out all together. That's quite a lot of accessories for a $60 tablet. I'm honestly impressed. But will it be able to maintain my enthusiasm as I actually start using it? They say this works with Android devices, and as someone who can't stand drawing on their phone, I immediately wanted to test this out. Excuse me, Blackjack, I'm gonna borrow this real quick. For my Android device review, I wanted a drawing app equally as affordable and lightweight to use as what I would expect a beginner digital artist to work with. I've heard a lot of mobile device artists using apps such as Ibis Paint or Procreate for their work, but since I'm not super into Ibis Paint's layout and iOS is out of the picture, I wanted to try out HiPaint, which from what I've seen is a sort of Procreate-esque clone for Android devices that lets you use its paid features for watching an ad every 2 or so hours. Remember, nothing in this review is sponsored, so this will be my honest opinion working with HiPaint for the first time as well. Right off the bat, I felt extremely out of my comfort zone working on my phone. To the people that do this regularly with their fingertips, you guys are built different. And I mean that in the most positive sense. I tried my best to keep my hands to the tablet only and not touch the screen at all, but I feel like for you to get any real use out of using this tablet in tandem with a phone, you need to be able to work with both. Especially since it didn't seem like you could set up the hotkeys any further than the scroll wheel and undo button. Editor Cubes here. I found out in post that you can actually program most of these buttons natively in HiPaint according to your preferences in the app's device settings, which would have saved me a lot of future pain and heartache. What I had seen according to Parblo's support forum suggested that shortcut key support did not extend outside of like 2 or 3 apps, of which I couldn't even find in the Play Store. It may be worth noting that before you try to use this tablet for its shortcut keys, to check if that's something your drawing app even supports first. I felt a lot of lag between my pen and what I was seeing on screen, and I didn't even want to try using stabilizers to smooth out my strokes, so I felt like nothing of what I was putting down was actually what was on screen. It was hard for me to tell if this was a learning curve, the fault of the tablet, or the phone itself. So after doing a few more doodles off camera, which did feel a little bit better, I decided to see if my experience on an Android tablet would be any different. Sorry, Intangbo X7, but I gotta give you like a 4 or 5 out of 10 for this. You're definitely better than using my fingertips, but that's as much as you had going for you. One of the first things I tried to do when I set up my Galaxy tab was to see if I could draw in landscape mode, but it doesn't seem that the X7 supports that orientation with mobile devices at this time. I had tried to finagle my way with a cracked locked portrait mode setup, but it was a lot more trouble than it was worth, so I settled for working in regular portrait mode as intended. I wanted to be able to use this tablet and its shortcut keys to its full potential, but this was before I realized I could set that up in HiPaint itself, so I used a Bluetooth keyboard as a stand-in for them. In the beginning, I tried to use the keys that did work as much as I could, which was honestly just the scroll wheel and the undo button. Personally, I'm not a fan of having to reach across to the top of the tablet just to use hotkeys, when it just feels like so much better for me to have them in the bottom left corner like what I'm used to. Because all of the buttons were up at the top, I felt like I was spending more time having to reach across and undo my strokes and then refine my place back on the tablet. So for the rest of the line art, I ended up just using my Bluetooth keyboard instead so I could speed things along. Not everyone will have the convenience of a Bluetooth keyboard to work with though, so I think if Parblo wants these to be considered as a distinct feature for their tablets while alongside their Android device gimmick, they should not only work on making the hotkeys available right off the bat in more apps, but also allow for the tablet to be usable in more than just portrait mode. It's something that I think that left-handed and right-handed artists alike will find accessible. Drawing-wise, the response time on the Galaxy tab was a lot smoother than my phone. There was still a bit of latency here and there, but it wasn't unworkable in my opinion. It did take some getting used to, working with a graphics tablet and using hand-eye coordination to draw, but after an hour I was able to get used to working with it well enough. The pressure sensitivity and quality of my lines were about what I expected to see when I was working normally, so overall I was pleased with the results. I did find myself zooming in a lot more, however, when trying to clean up the line art, and would take more time than usual to plan strokes, which I think is more or less the nature of working with a graphics tablet. All in all, I'd give the Android tablet experience about 7 out of 10 stars. The portrait layout and hotkeys left something to be desired, but as a working tablet, it was a smooth experience. The first thing I did to get the tablet set up with my PC was to go to Parblo's website, find the Windows 11 driver, download it, and follow the installation instructions, which was simple enough aside from some minute formatting hiccups. It was a lot easier to deal with, at least in comparison to the nagging sense of dread filling me as I uninstalled my XP Pen tablet's driver while it stared me down, making room for a newer, more aesthetic model. Baby, please, it doesn't mean anything. It's just for the review. Once the brand guilt subsided, I configured the tablet's hotkeys to the settings I'm most familiar with and set to work with a round of pressure tests and doodles. Wow. Oh man, this is what I was missing with the Android devices. All of the hotkeys were easy to access, the scroll wheel felt smooth to work with, and I didn't feel like I was flapping my arms all over the tablet like I was when I was using it vertically. It also turns out that the mute wheel had custom modes that I could switch between. Hold on, it's not just for zooming? That's right, bucko. I could now also use it to change my brush size, opacity, move through layers, and even use it as a quicker way to flip between the undo and redo button. To keep it simple, I stuck with using it primarily as my zoom, but I love that such a wide variety of options were available. Where I had initially worried that this more compact design was going to sacrifice what I thought were quality of life features, it turns out Parblo was already several steps ahead. Keeping a design simple is important for a beginner artist because if you're overwhelmed with all the bells and whistles, you won't be able to get to actually creating. I think this design works pretty well to bridge that gap as a newer artist goes intermediate and has a chance to grow with its user. Now that I was in the zone of my usual workspace, I really wanted to push the limits of what this beginner budget tablet was capable of. Sure, it was marketed as a tool for beginners, but that didn't mean it wasn't capable of more, right? Maybe it was just the familiarity of using the tablet vertically, but now everything seemed to just click. Unlike before, I was able to appreciate the subtle paper-like feel of the tablet's working area, which makes the pen feel a lot more natural than just drawing directly on tempered glass or smooth, hard plastic. The delay issues I had with the Android devices also seemed to just disappear as the response rate for the PC connection was just smooth the entire time. I'd say it ran about the same speed as the Galaxy Tab would. And this is really important for me, even with how much I tend to use stabilizers for my inking process. I want to draft quickly and get my forms down, so I don't want to have to be fighting the hardware on top of my own creative roadblocks. There were still some stabilizer and stroke issues here and there, like with the Android devices, but I chalk that up mostly to me not having used a graphics tablet in ages. Hand-eye coordinated drawing is a doozy. I'm sure that with more practice working with it, that would just become a non-issue down the line. The hotkeys were extremely helpful for speeding my workflow along, though I did feel like I was a bit more scrunched in while I was working due to the actual active area being smaller than I'm used to. I would need a wrist break a bit more often than I would with my larger tablets, so I can't honestly picture myself using the X7 for everyday usage, as carpal tunnel is not on my ever-growing list of problems I want to deal with. I think this tablet works amazingly as an affordable starter tablet for younger artists and even more mature ones who want to add a pop of color to their desk space. Heck, even for travel when you just know you're going to need to jot down an idea really quickly. I know for a fact that if I had had something like this back when I was in middle school, I would have tossed my crusty Graphire 4 out the window in a heartbeat. I'll be honest, even after enjoying the whole process of working with it, it still does kind of feel a bit like a lightweight toy in my hands. But I can't deny that this little fella is pretty powerful and has a lot of potential in passionate hands. As I finish up this speed paint, I want to thank Parblo once again for reaching out and sending this product over for me to review. I love the idea of having digital art become more accessible to everyone, and I think the Intangbo X7 treats itself and its users with enough respect that even with it being a cheaper end device, it still stands well against its competitors as a starter graphics tablet without sacrificing any quality of life features and specs. Hey! Hooray! You made it to the end of the video! Thank you guys so much for supporting me and my channel. It's because of all of you that I was even able to collaborate with a company like this. This was a huge first for me, but I had a lot of fun working on it, and I hope you were able to learn a little from my ramblings. Until next time, I'll see you guys later with more OC memes, comics, and animations. Peace!